Have you ever felt trapped in urgency, waiting for something to change, for someone to respond, for life to fall into place? Does it hurt when things do not happen at your pace, when the soul asks for answers, but only silence arrives? We live in times where everything is immediate, yet there are sacred things such as healing, real love, or inner awakening that are not born in haste. They only blossom with patience. In Buddhism, patience is not resignation. It is an act of inner power, a form of wisdom that turns every weight into a seed and every delay into training for the soul. Today, I want to reveal how to cultivate that sacred patience. Not the kind that exhausts you, but the kind that transforms you. Because when you learn to wait with a calm heart, the universe stops seeming slow and begins to reveal itself with purpose. If this message already touches something within you, subscribe to the channel and stay until the end. This video is a guide, a medicine, and a sanctuary for those who are learning to trust the timing of the soul. High on a mountain, wrapped in mist, where silence is deeper than words and the wind whispers mantras through the trees, lived a young novice in a Buddhist monastery. He was enthusiastic and committed, but also impatient. Like many who are just beginning the spiritual path, he believed that the evolution of the soul could be forced, like pushing on a closed door without noticing that it opens from the other side. One day, he was given the task of caring for a newly planted bonsai. Small, fragile, almost imperceptible, yet full of potential. The young man watered it with dedication, protected it from the sun, removed dry leaves, and every morning he looked at it, hoping to see a change. But the tree did not grow, or at least not at the pace of his expectations. Weeks passed, and the bonsai remained the same. Frustrated, the young man began to do more. He dug into the soil, moved the pot from place to place, tried to give it more light, and even caressed its branches as if he could motivate it with his anxiety disguised as love. One day, while hurriedly stirring the soil with his fingers, he felt a presence behind him. It was the temple master, who had been observing him in silence. He approached and said in a calm voice, "My son, what are you doing? I am trying to help my bonsai grow, but nothing is happening. Am I doing something wrong?" The master smiled gently and replied, "The bonsai does not need you to rush it. It only needs you to care for it." The young man lowered his gaze, confused. "Then what should I do?" "Cultivate your patience," said the master. "Let the tree teach you how to blossom. Because just as a bonsai needs time, you also need silence for what is essential to grow within." The young man understood. He stopped intervening, learned to observe without anxiety, and to care without controlling. And as his mind found peace, the bonsai, without noise or effort, bloomed in its own time. Like all that is true, close your eyes for a moment. Inhale deeply, feel the air enter gently. And as you exhale, let any accumulated tension leave. Now, bring your attention to your heart. Think about what you are waiting for today. Maybe it is a response that has not arrived, a healing you long for, a chapter you wish to open, a dream that has not yet blossomed. And ask yourself honestly, how much energy of your soul have you lost fighting against time? How many times have you felt frustrated because things did not happen when you wanted them to? The ego wants immediate results, but the soul knows that everything blooms in its sacred moment. So now, let go. Do not resign yourself. Trust. Trust that what is true does not need to be rushed. Trust that life is not late. It is aligning. Breathe again and feel how your inner world softens. As if your soul were saying, I no longer need to control. I only need to be present and available to receive. Because just as the earth does not rush the lotus, your inner flower is also blooming, even if you cannot see it yet. And it will do so in its own time, in silence, with perfection. And now that you have breathed and connected with yourself from a calmer place, you can look at your path with different eyes. Eyes that do not demand but observe. With a heart that no longer runs, but trusts the rhythm of the invisible. Because patience is not waiting with anxiety. It is learning to inhabit the present while life arranges itself within and without. It is an art, a practice, a training of the soul. And Buddhism, with its ancient wisdom, has taught this since the beginning. So now, let us walk together through the key teachings, not to fill you with ideas, but to plant calm and wisdom where there was once haste. Prepare yourself, because these truths do not only speak of waiting, they speak of deeply transforming the way you live your life. Let us begin. 1. Patience is a spiritual root. On the Buddhist path, patience is not merely a virtue. It is a deep root that sustains the growth of the soul. The word used in ancient texts is zanti, and its meaning goes far beyond simply waiting. Zanti is the patience that does not fight the present moment. It is the ability to remain at peace even when nothing seems to be moving forward. Because in truth, patience is not passivity. It is presence in slow motion. It is knowing that you have planted with intention. And now it is time to trust the invisible process you cannot control. Many confuse patience with resignation. But Buddhism makes it clear, to be patient is not to cross your arms. It is to keep the heart open without anxiety. Each time you wait without demanding, each time you allow something to mature without pulling it out before its time, you are practicing a spiritual act. The Buddha taught, like the gardener who sows without clinging to the fruit, so should the wise one be. Steady, present, without haste, yet without stopping. Practicing Zanti is allowing life to breathe. It is not interfering with what is not yet ready to reveal itself. It is trusting that what is quietly taking shape is just as valuable as what has already bloomed. And you can remain with the present without demanding that it speed up. That is the root of true transformation. 2. Patience calms the mind. Impatience is not just a passing emotion. It is an inner storm that activates without us noticing. When the mind wants immediate results, it enters a state of anxious hyperactivity. It thinks without pause, projects, anticipates, fears, demand, and what begins as a simple wait becomes a mental whirlwind that contaminates the body and the soul. The mind races, the shoulders tighten, the chest constricts, the breath shortens. Then dense emotions appear: frustration, desperation, anger. And from there come impulsive reaction, conflict, and exhaustion. But Buddhism teaches that this cycle can be interrupted. The tool is patience as inner medicine. When you choose to practice patience, not as resignation, but as a conscious choice, the entire cycle reverses. Breathing becomes deeper. The mind clears. The heart settles. And when that happens, the impulse stops. Energy is restored. And you reconnect with the present moment. In the words of the Buddha, the impatient mind does not see clearly. Only in stillness does true vision arise. Each time you breathe consciously in the midst of anxiety, you are training your mind the way a monk trains his body, with steadiness, compassion, and presence. Because patience is not the absence of action. It is action born from calm. Remember this. Each time you feel the urge to react, rush, or force something, you have the power to return to yourself. Patience is the bridge between reaction and wisdom. And in that silence, where you do not let yourself be carried away, your true inner freedom begins. 3. Training patience through impermanence. Anicca. One of the most fundamental teachings of Buddhism is anicca, the impermanence of all things. Everything you see, feel, and experience is changing. Nothing remains the same. Not even for a single second. Not the body you inhabit. Not the emotions you feel. Not the relationships you love. Everything is movement, transformation, flow. But what happens when you resist that flow? You suffer. You become frustrated. You demand that things remain stable in a world that is constantly changing. Here is where patience becomes spiritual training. Patience is not only about waiting. It is about allowing what changes to change without destroying you. It is letting each stage complete its course without trying to force its speed. Impatience wants results now. It wants certainty, guarantees, control. But the soul matures when it surrenders to what it cannot control and learns to trust the natural rhythm of life. Like the sun does not need to rush to rise, nor does it despair if the sky is cloudy. It knows its moment will come. And when it appears, it simply shines without forcing, without anxiety. This is how the wisdom of anicca works. Everything arrives. Everything shines for as long as it must. Everything leaves when it is time. And your task is not to resist, but to float within that universal dance. Each time you choose to wait with acceptance, each time you breathe through uncertainty, each time you release the urgency of needing answers, you are already training your patience in the light of anicca. And over time, that training makes you more serene, wiser, freer. Because you stop asking life to be permanent and begin to honor its changing nature. Patience is, in reality, a form of loving surrender to the truth of change. A deep practice that helps you live with fewer expectations and more trust. 4. Turning waiting into presence. The impatient mind is always in the future. When will it arrive? Why has it not happened yet? What if it never does? This way of thinking pulls you out of the present and places you in a constant sense of lack. As if your life were only valid when that thing you desire finally arrives. But Buddhism teaches something radically different. Waiting is not emptiness. It is an opportunity for awakening. Waiting is a spiritual dojo, an invisible space where you can train your ability to be here, now, complete, without needing more. Each moment of not knowing can be transformed into a moment of full presence. Instead of repeating, it will arrive someday. You can choose to say, I am whole while I wait. Imagine waiting becoming your teacher. That instead of anxiety, you cultivate gratitude. That instead of tension, you breathe, smile, and expand. Even in daily life, you can turn idle time into sacred time. While waiting for a call, breathe deeply. While a file loads or you stand in a queue, give thanks for three things. While the future is being prepared in the invisible, meditate on your own presence. Technology has trained us for immediacy, but you can retrain your mind for wisdom. Where others become desperate, you can find calm. Where others rush, you can stop and bloom. Because, as the wisdom of the monk teaches, when things do not arrive, life is asking you to train your calm, to cultivate your peace, so you can receive them with a clear soul. So transform every moment of waiting into an altar of awareness, and you will see how, without realizing it, waiting becomes the path, and the path becomes living presence. 5. Compassionate patience with yourself as well. It is easy to talk about having patience with the world. But what happens when you become impatient with yourself? When you do not forgive yourself for repeating a pattern? When you judge your progress as too slow? When you see others achieving more and feel that you have been left behind? Silently, without noticing, you may be planting pressure instead of evolution. But Buddhism, with its ancient tenderness, teaches us something essential. Compassion begins with you. The master Shantideva said, "Just as I care for the body I inhabit, I must also care for the mind that inhabits me." That means speaking to yourself with respect, looking at your wounds with understanding, accompanying yourself through your processes as you would a loved one. It is not about justifying everything. It is about understanding that healing takes time, that growth is not always visible on the outside, but it is felt on the inside. Sometimes your greatest spiritual act will be to tell yourself, "I am doing the best I can," and truly believe it. Because impatience with yourself does not speed up the process. It only blocks peace. Every step forward, no matter how small, deserves celebration. Every fall deserves a kind gaze. Every difficult day deserves an inner embrace. Patience is not waiting while doing nothing. It is doing what you can from a place of love, without hurting yourself for not being able to handle everything yet. Learn from your mistake. Celebrate your quiet progress. Be your ally, not your judge. When you cultivate this compassionate patience, your soul relaxes, your mind clears, and your path becomes lighter, because you are no longer walking against yourself. And that is one of the deepest forms of spiritual freedom. 6. Patience in the face of conflict. In everyday life, one of the greatest spiritual challenges is not meditating in silence, but maintaining peace when someone provokes you. Sharp words, challenging attitudes, unfair judgments. In seconds, you can feel something activate within you. Anger, pride, the urge to defend yourself. And that is where the true practice begins. Patience as an inner shield. Buddhism reminds us that external conflict only has power if you feed it from within. You cannot control the words of others, but you can choose how to respond to them. In the face of offense, breathe. In the face of shouting, remain silent. In the face of judgment, observe without absorbing it. Patience is not weakness. Patience is strength channeled with wisdom. When someone attacks you verbally, you have two options: react from the ego and turn a spark into a wildfire, or respond from awareness and extinguish the fire before it consumes you. The wise do not seek to win arguments, they seek to preserve their center, because they know that sometimes the greatest power is not getting hooked. This does not mean staying silent about what hurts or allowing abuse. It means responding from clarity, not from impulse. Cultivate silence not as indifference, but as a sacred space to listen before reacting. When you choose patience in the midst of conflict, you do not only disarm the other, you free yourself. Because, as the Buddha said, true victory is not defeating another, but conquering oneself. So, the next time someone makes you angry, do not hand over your peace. Breathe, ground yourself, and remember, your response can be part of the chaos or part of the healing you choose. 7. Patience in work and projects. We live in a culture where quick achievements are applauded and immediate results are demanded. But Buddhist wisdom reminds us that what is true, lasting, and profound is not born from haste. Look at nature. The strongest trees spend years developing roots before showing a single leaf. Flowers do not open when you want them to. They open when they are ready. Your work, your projects, your dreams also have their own sacred rhythm. And if you force the process, you risk weakening it at the foundation. Patience on the professional path is not passivity. It is active trust. It is learning, adapting, and planting with intention without losing your peace. Because the fruits do not arrive instantly. The great masters of art, science, and spirituality knew that excellence is not a matter of speed, but of depth. Every email sent with presence, every decision made from calm, every slow but steady step builds something more powerful than actions taken in haste. In your projects, when anxiety knocks at the door, ask yourself, am I acting from urgency or from presence? Am I planting roots or only seeking flowers? Because what is solid is not born from impulse. It is born from serene intention, gentle discipline, and quiet consistency. And then one day, what seemed slow blossoms with strength. Remember, you do not need to rush to arrive. You only need to be present in each step and trust that what you are building from calm will last far longer than any immediate success. Patience at work is not wasting time. It is honoring time as part of creation. 8. Patience and spiritual prosperity. True prosperity is not always measured in numbers, achieved goals, or visible results. From a Buddhist perspective, prosperity is an inner blossoming, peace in the heart, clarity in the mind, openness in the soul. And for that blossoming to occur, sacred time is required. Just as a seed does not bear fruit the moment it touches the soil, your spiritual growth, your material blessings, your energetic balance all require maturation, not as punishment, but as harmony. The universe does not deny you anything. It simply waits until you are truly ready to hold what you ask for. Ask for abundance, and life will observe whether your energy can channel it with gratitude. Ask for love, and the universe will sense whether your heart already loves itself. Ask for purpose, and existence will want to see whether your soul already listens in silence. Patience here is not resignation. It is wisdom in action. It is saying to life, I trust your rhythm. I prepare myself calmly for what is to come. There are fertile silences, delays that purify, waiting times that are not empty, but blessings in formation. When you understand this, you stop measuring your prosperity only by what is visible and begin to honor the invisible as well. The balance you are building, the lessons you are integrating, the light you are cultivating in each meditation, in each conscious act, in each deep breath. A prosperous soul is not the one that has more. It is the one that knows how to wait, plan, give thanks, and receive without anxiety. Remember, nothing blooms before its time. And if we force the fruit, we lose the learning. The process was meant to give us trust. Everything that is true arrives when you are also true with yourself. Patience is not built only by understanding its value. It is cultivated in everyday life, through conscious gestures, through sacred habits. Here I share 4 simple yet deeply transformative practices. They are seeds you can plant in your daily life to train the soul in luminous waiting. 1. Conscious breathing. The rhythm 4-4. Or when you feel impatience, anxiety, or that urge to make something happen right now, stop. Take a brief but powerful pause. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold the breath for 4 counts. Exhale for 8 counts. This pattern not only calms your nervous system, it also sends a message to your body and your mind, I am safe. I can wait. Do it 3 times in a row and you will see how your energy stabilizes like calm water. 2. A present moment gratitude journal. Each night or at the end of a challenging day, write, what did this wait give me today? What part of me grew stronger by not forcing things? What beauty was I able to notice while nothing seemed to happen? This habit transforms waiting into wisdom and trains your awareness to recognize that even in slowness, there are hidden blessings. 3. A symbolic ritual. Plant a real or symbolic seed. It can be a pot with soil and a literal seed, or a written affirmation buried on your altar. Each day you care for it, water it, or simply look at it. Remember, this is how your calm grows. This is how your desire also blossoms. You cannot force a flower to open. You can only hold space for its process with trust and love. 4. Micro meditations for urgency. Do you feel your mind speeding up? Does your heart demand answers or immediate results? Do this. Sit down. Close your eyes for 2 to 5 minutes. Just breathe. Do not think. Do not solve. Simply inhabit this moment. It is like training the soul to stay home instead of running after the future. These practices are not for when you have time. They are precisely for the moments when you feel you lack time, because it is there, in the fire of urgency, where sacred patience is truly forged. Make every breath a lesson, every wait a planting, every pause a blessing. Pause. Take a sip of water. Feel how it flows like life itself, without haste, without resistance. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Think about what you urgently long for and ask yourself, can I allow it to arrive in its own time? Do I trust that my process is also blossoming in silence? Breathe again. Perhaps today is not a day to run, but to trust, to release the rush and nourish the root. Patience is not enduring. It is feeding your soul. It is training for deep peace. It is turning waiting into presence. It is a flower that, when it blooms, reveals the wisdom of time. If this message cultivated calm within you, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with those who need to learn how to wait without despair. Tell me in the comments what you're waiting for with more peace today and which practice of calm you can begin right now. See you in the next video. A hug of light. Oh,